All right, we are live. I want to welcome you to the Do Work podcast. This is our weekly podcast where one thing matters and one thing only matters. And we live by this that nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. And I'm really excited for today. I told you it's Women's History Month. Every guest I have on during the month of March is going to be just some badass female you need to know. So this is how we're going into this. I got to introduce you guys to my friend Christine Evans, aka the Weight Loss Hero. Christine, what is up?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
No, I'm excited. Thanks for you taking time to be here. How long have we been trying to make this happen for now?
Like, it feels like our whole lives. I don't know. It's been a minute.
No, it has been a minute. So, for those of you who don't know, Christine has an awesome brand called Weight Loss Hero. Her journey is amazing. I wanted to get her on in January, but it was tough. So, Christine, I want you to introduce yourself to the viewers and the listeners and tell them who you are and what you do.
Awesome. I am Christine Evans. Probably the most important thing that I am is I am a child of God. I'm a believer in Jesus. I am a wife. I am a bonus mom. And I love that very much. I am a creator. I am a weight loss coach. I help women lose weight. We focus on transforming from the inside out. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
Awesome. So I had the awesome pleasure of spending time with you and your weird husband, Heath. Yo, he's going to watch this and be like, she called me weird on the podcast.
He's not going to be surprised.
I know. I love Heath, but we like broke bread. You know, we fellowshipped and we had a great conversation. And your journey into fitness wellness coach is not the typical journey.
Right.
So let's talk about where you came from, because for me, I just assumed you were I assume everybody's a fitness person. I think that's part of my problem.
I'm still not a fitness person, so I don't know how.
You are. And I love what you do. And I love the recipes. I love your community, just the things that I see. I don't know. I like the way you do what you do. So let's talk about where you started and how you got to where you are now.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible because I could make this like 5 hours and nobody likes to hear a long story about somebody else. About 8 years ago now, which is crazy even saying that, I was more than 275 pounds. I stopped weighing myself at one point. I'm 5'5", so I'm not super tall. I was really out of control of my mind, of my emotions. Spiritually, I was a train wreck and I was wearing that. I was gaining weight rapidly. I was a binge eater, not formally diagnosed, but I diagnosed myself with, and I was just stuck in a rut. I was on so many prescription medications. My body was breaking down. I was sick. I was on antidepressants. I was on anti-anxiety medications. And I just so badly wanted to be free, but I felt like I couldn't stick to anything. And so that's where I started. And I, at that time, had a bunch of people around me who were like, I just had weight loss surgery and I'm just eating whatever I want and just losing weight. And I was like, that sounds great. I want some of that. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how much it hurts. I want to eat whatever I want and still lose weight. And so I signed up to have weight loss surgery and paid it, financed it with money I didn't have. They make you go to these nutrition courses, and girl, I'm sitting there during this nutrition course, like I'm checking out Taco Casa out my window. I'm like, I'm not listening to anything you're saying, but I'm going to go get me a burrito for $3.25 and I'm done. And so I just remember I didn't want to change my habits. I didn't want to change at all. It's like I wanted my circumstance to change. So we talk about do work, but I didn't want to do the work. And so I was like, this is the solution I'm looking for, because logically speaking, anyone who hasn't had weight loss surgery would say, if you cut out 80% of my stomach, I'd look skinny too. And that's just kind of what you think. It's like foolproof. Yep. So have surgery, lose a little bit before, lose a little bit after. Soon as I can start eating like literally anything, I am back to my old shenanigans. They just look a little different, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And so here I am. I remember the first time I went to Costco, they had these samples of this like popcorn, the kind that's like cheddar and caramel together. I ate the whole bag. I mean, it was massive bag in a matter of hours, because with weight loss surgery, there's a lot of things you can figure out how to eat that you can just eat to death. I can't eat a whole loaf of bread, but I can eat a whole bag of popcorn at that time. And so my point of all this is that the scale first started to just slow down, then it stopped moving, and then I started doing the same stuff I was doing before. It would go up, it would go down, it would go up, it would go down. But how embarrassing. I've had all this surgery, I've done all this, and then I'm still stuck. And so I'm thankful for the surgery only because it was a rock bottom moment that I needed to realize that if I wanted my life to change, I was the one that was going to have to change, that this wasn't going to be like, I'm just going to wake up with my dream body and be able to maintain it. And so I got involved in a gym. I started learning how to work out. I found the keto diet before the keto diet was even cool. I was like, this is the only thing that logically makes sense. And I started doing the work, and I started putting in the work. And so from there, if I can just keep going, you want me to keep going?
No.
I'm trying to like get through this.
People are listening, and they're going to be they're listening. They're watching. This is fine. I want the story.
I'm just like, we're just going to go for it. So this is the thing. And this is the thing that I've not only found with myself. I love to tell this part of my story. I was really ashamed of it for a while. But I find that this is so true of so many people who are trying to lose weight. And I honestly think it's even the same with people who are trying to get fit, because the thing is that we feel like weight loss is the answer, or we feel like we get that dream physique. It's the answer, but it still didn't fix what was broken inside of me. So the reality is that the reason I got to the state that I was is because I had some major stuff broken inside of me that I was trying to not deal with. I was trying to not face. I didn't want to look at. And so when I would feel the things or deal with my dysfunctions, I was using food to try to cover them. Momentarily, made me feel okay. But in the long run, it was destroying me. And so it was through this process that it's been a process of years, and it's been a process that I'm still on. I had no walk with God when I first started this. God was nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. I was raised in the church, completely abandoned my faith. And I got to this sticking point where I realized that I've done all I can. I've come to the end of myself. I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I've made all I wanted to make. I have the position in the job I want, the car, the high rise, the body, the plastic surgery. I had it all. But I was still unsatisfied. And in fact, maybe I didn't have the depression and like some of the health ailments, but when I figured out at the end of all that I was still empty, and I still felt so broken, and I still felt so lost, and I still felt like I had no purpose. That's when God was like, all right, I'm going to introduce myself to this chick. And let me tell you, it was a fight. It was a fight of me trying to cling to it was the same fight I had when I first started with weight loss surgeries. I thought that was the answer, and I didn't want to let go of the things that were really destroying me. And same way when God came in and radically changed my life. And I just love what God has done. I love how Jesus has saved me. He has transformed me. And so in that time, I obviously have lost weight. I did have plastic surgery because I had skin in places I didn't like, still do, but it is what it is. I really began to have a passion to want to help other women, and not in the way of like, I just want to write a diet book and you can follow this for a few weeks and fall off like everyone else does. But like, hey, let's start getting to the mindsets behind this, and let's start getting to the heart behind this. Now, look, I can't help anyone spiritually. I can only lead them to the one that can. But even just from a mindset perspective, and you know this, there are mindsets that will help you succeed. Hold on, that noise is not going to stop. Okay. There are mindsets that will help you succeed, and they will at least get you to a certain place, right? There are heart things that you can really start to face and start to dive in. And then of course there's the work that only God can do that I hope that people find along this journey.
Yo, it's so funny. When I was like building out the template for our talk today, I literally, one of the things I wrote down for you was fitness and faith.
Yeah.
I remember when we spoke at your home, that was big for you. You talked about how God, you was like, yo, Diva, like Jesus saved me. And as I was trying to find myself on this journey, he led me down this path. Now, one of the things I like about what you do is, how can I say this nicely? Like, you are a woman of faith all the time.
Yeah.
And I say that to you because I think it's awesome. You're not a faker, you're not a poser. Like, you are a woman of faith all the time. And you combine that with your love for helping women be stronger, helping them regain their self-worth, helping them become more confident. Like, all those things are so huge. So in a world today where especially so many young women, I feel like a lot of the people I've been interviewing this month, I've really been kind of focusing on the younger women because I feel like they're so lost.
Yep.
I feel like they're lost. So like, what advice would you give to young women trying to find themselves? Like, I just feel like they're so lost, man. I don't even know how else to say it. Like, what
Well,
advice would you give to them?
and being honest, that's literally how I felt years ago. I was asking myself today, like who is my ideal client, right? Like, and I thought it's like a blend of physically who I was 8 years ago
Mm-hmm.
and emotionally, spiritually who I was about 4 years ago. Because you just said something interesting. You said I'm a woman of faith all the time, but I didn't used to be. I kind of was doing this like I'm a Christian, but I'm still going to go do these things. I'm trying to kind of play both sides. And the thing is that I know for me, figuring out that solid foundation. So, like, my foundation is the Lord, my foundation is rooting myself in biblical truth. And so, no matter what I face today, I
Mm-hmm.
have a foundation that I go to. And without that foundation, without knowing what it is that defines you, something you can go back that is authoritative in your life, you are going to feel lost. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, I didn't really know who I was or what I was supposed to do. And the thing is it's a never ending pursuit that will never satisfy you. I look at people, especially in this industry, man, it does not matter what status they achieve. It does not matter what magazine cover they're on. It does not matter what competition they win. It's like, yeah, but I got to get the next one and I got to get the bigger one. And hey, I love some really good, healthy goals. I love being like, I'm going to challenge myself. That's great. But we try to find our identity in those things, and our identity will never be found in those. But one
Mm.
other thing, and I'm just going to tell you, this is going to be totally countercultural to what
No,
probably a
that's
lot
fine.
of the people that you'll even interview say, and that's okay because we can all have a different opinion.
Absolutely.
But when I stopped making it all about me and all about like like who I am and like what, like, I need people to know what I'm worth. I need people to know how confident I am and all of this. And when I just started being like, no, I want to make my life about serving others. Like God says, like there are two commands: to love God and to love other people as yourself. Look, we already got self-love down. We don't have to be taught how
Right.
to do that. What we need to be taught is how to serve others and how to love others, especially people that are hard to love. And I find my biggest today, my biggest moments of struggle and my biggest moments of doubt are when I'm too focused on me and how other people respond to me and what other people think of me, honestly. And again, this is totally countercultural because culture is like, just love yourself and just, you got to prove how confident you are. Walk in a room and just show everyone you're confident. And that all sounds great. And I'm not saying there's anything even necessarily like bad about that. I just don't really think it has the power to do anything. I think it just gives us temporary moments of feeling like, yeah, I'm going to do that and focus there. But if it doesn't actually have the power to change, then what is it actually doing? Daily affirmations, like for me, like I always felt dumb. I'm like standing in my mirror, like, you're strong and you're beautiful. I'm like, just because I say it doesn't mean it's true. Like I have to go out and walk out who I say I want to be. If I want to be a woman of faith, I got to walk that out, even when I don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when I get punched in the mouth, even when I fall down. I have to walk out who I say it is that I am and who I say it is I want to be,
I love
no
it.
matter what.
Yo, you know what's interesting? I was talking with a young lady last night, and this whole conversation is making me realize I stay in good company. I have a lot of women of faith in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I never really think about it, and I don't know if it's just because of the way I personally grew up. I tell people my mother is a preacher, and she still actively ministers to this day. But um, I have a lot of women of faith in my life. And it's interesting that you talked about service because the one thing we said last night, and she and I both agreed, I said, I wake up every day. So, like, my life is an example of possibilities. And I can help other people like do the same.
Yeah.
Like, but that's it. But it's not the diva show. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not like, and anybody who meets me and interacts with me, they knows as crazy as they may think I am on the surface, it's not the diva show.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can I help you? What can I do for you? How, let me teach you how to make more money, or let me show you how to set up your business. Like, how can I help you? So service is just crucial. And I agree with you. I think if more people took time to give service to others, they would begin to find their purpose.
Yep.
They would begin to find their purpose.
And there's so much joy in it too. I mean, man, do you ever just feel bad about yourself and then you read a story about someone else and you're like,
absolutely.
Oh, I've got to end this pity party now because my life is not bad. What I have going on, man, it might feel bad, but in the grand scheme of things, getting some nice perspective, it's not bad. And perspective is a lot, and perspective is everything. Whether you're wanting to build a business, whether you are wanting to lose weight, whether you have a physique goal, whatever it is that you're trying to do, keeping perspective. I mean, it's always our mind we've got to convince, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we like to do just like one thing one time, and if it doesn't work, we're like, I'm out. Like, this is just it. and that's where we get tripped up.
Yo, and we can't. So another part of your journey that's very interesting. You know, I'm very big on entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You had no idea how to start a business. Like, okay, no. Oh, you telling this story.
Oh, no. Look, listen, I got to tell you how bad this was. So I was in corporate America. I was a AR director for a medical billing company. I loved it. But and this is another story for another day, but I just had this moment where basically the first time that I ever really understood that God was trying to get my attention in my life. Right. And I prayed a certain way and God was like, he just revealed himself to me. And I'm like, okay, so I knew I was going to be leaving corporate America. So I decide, I'm like, I'm going to help other women lose weight. Now you have to understand, I know a lot. Compared to what I know now, I knew about 1% of what I know today. And so all I knew is that I had the heart to help people. I knew that the mindset and the hard work behind it was key. So even if they did a diet different than me, even if they did workouts different than me, like I knew if I could just get in and help people think about this thing a little bit different, they're going to go much further because I saw what was keeping me stuck. And so I just like jumped out of a building when I started this job. Like when I started Weightloss Hero, and I will never forget. I mean, I need you to understand, I had no website. I had my brother-in-law built in like an opt-in, and I had like some random email addresses collected. I did not know how to convert anything to a PDF even. I basically knew how to operate email in an Excel document. And I remember the day I got my first client, my first person to say yes to me. And she's like, I'm a pescatarian and I have all these specific eating preferences. And I remember being like, of course you do. And if she's
right, you ain't gonna be easy.
Her name's Lisa, and I still talk to her to this day. And she already is gonna know, like, man, I didn't even know the wrench I was throwing in Christine's plans. And so the thing is that I just walked into it like knowing this is what I was supposed to do, knowing that I feel like the Lord's called me to do this, terrified, but in motion, right? Yeah. So already had this major social media following, had tons of opportunities of women saying, can you help me somehow? But didn't really know how to make this a business. And let me explain to you, just so you have an idea. A lot had changed in my job. I had just gotten a high-rise apartment that was more expensive than what I could afford. I likely, and I can't remember exactly, I am willing to bet I had about $200 in my bank account when I made the decision to leave corporate America or just start Weightloss Hero. Maybe a little bit more by the time I left. I'd saved a little bit, like no more than $2,000 to my name. I remember I did a trial for ClickFunnels. That was my first website hosting software. And I remember thinking when this $99 comes out in 2 weeks, like I pray I have it. Like I'm literally like counting on this ClickFunnels trial to work because I don't have it. And so obviously the Lord has richly blessed it, but I started with nothing. I knew how to do nothing. So to give you an idea now, I have built all my websites. I run all of my email softwares. I build out all of our platforms because I just like to know how to do it. I don't have to wait on anybody else. And so I only say that to say, like, I figured it out. I watched YouTube videos. I did tutorials. Like I got in there and was like, look, if I don't know how to do it, I'm gonna find out how. And that's how
Yo,
I started.
you know more than I do. I'm trying to be better about my mic. My camera's being weird. There we go. It's like
Oh,
being in and out of focus. I don't know. Whatever. But you know more than I do. I I had to find people to help me because I'm not that patient. So
well, I didn't have the money. I was
you're a rock star. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have the money. I will say I had my publicist to this day is the person who's been with me before everything.
oh, that's awesome.
So like my first website, she did it. Like
Yeah.
she helped me. We were like plug and play. Like so yeah, that's how we kind of started. So kudos to you. That's like that's that's real rock star. Wow. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Well, I'll tell you, and this is under business advice. So let me just go ahead and give. It's great to start. It's bottlenecked me many times in business because I want to be the person who does it all. So I start making money. I start having a successful business, and I don't want to let go of the control of the little things. And so there is a book I read. It's called E-Myth Mastery, and it's Entrepreneur Myth. Right. They've got a lot of new age thought processes in there. So I don't formally recommend it, but the actual business strategy, and it's pretty good. One of the things he talks about is identifying there are kind of three areas of any business. There's the entrepreneur work. That's the vision. That's the content. That's the stuff that only you can do. Right. Then there's managerial work that's overseeing the processes. And then there's the technician work. That's for me, customer service emails and fulfillment and inventory ordering and just everything that goes into it. I like to do the technician work. Man, I could spend 12 hours today and end the day feeling like I got some work done because I feel really good about it. But the reality is that I can hire people. I've got plenty of people that would love to help me with that. But I'm the only one that can make a video that's gonna impact someone. I'm the only one that can create programs that are going to better service my clients. And so the more time I spend in the wrong places, I bottleneck myself because there's no growth that can happen if I'm not sitting in that seat. And so I come to you as someone, I feel like even giving that advice makes me a total hypocrite because literally I was talking to Heath today. I'm like, I got to figure this out. I'm down there trying to work in the business again, not on the business, but it's the best advice I could give anyone, even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're a manager, figuring out the stuff that you don't have to do, that you can teach your team to do, teach your team to follow up on, because it allows you to work on the growth of the business.
I agree 100%. That was definitely one of my weaknesses later on, not in the beginning, because that stuff I didn't know. Like I didn't know the beginning stuff, but now it's like I'm in it and I still feel like I'm still in my day-to-day too much, which I say all the time. I'm like, why am I here? I should be like, this is interfering with me creating the vision here. Like I want to create the vision and the strategy. Like I don't want to be moving the applications. Why am I doing this? But sometimes it has to be done, but you are 100% right. Delegating is key. So last thing, and I'm going to get you out of here because you're a busy woman and I love you for doing this for me.
Of course.
So let's talk about it. Your daily routine. What does it consist of? All successful people have structure, even if it's what they call organized chaos, right?
Yes.
Have structure. So let's talk about what your structure is.
So my day, something I learned a few years ago, I used to wake up and lay up in my bed before I'd even gotten out. I would open my phone and I would start looking at all of the damage that lurked beneath the surface, from text messages to clients that are frustrated, to email issues, to DMs, to mean comments. Not the most, I'll get into that, but one of the most important things that I have learned to do, for the most part, I still do this very well, is to ignore the noise before I get my heart right every single day. And so I wake up every single day. I have I say it's like a prayer journal, but it's also just kind of like a documenting where I am, just what I'm dealing with, what I'm looking at, what I need direction on, what I need guidance on. I spend time in God's word every single day. Again, that's that laying that foundation for my day. If I do not start there, like God's word's on my heart. I know his word. I've read the Bible all the way through, but it is just how I start my day. Now, Heath and I, after this, either in the morning or the night before, we've actually had to get down to having day-to-day routines because we like to be like, every day is going to look the same. Let's plan out our week. And then like life comes at you. I was single, 2 years ago, and I didn't have two girls and I didn't have all these other things. And so learning to manage that has been a challenge. So literally, we have to micromanage our day down to 15-minute increments, and we have to say no to the things that don't fit there. So like when Diva wants to send me a text message in the middle of the day, my problem is that I look at it during a period I cannot respond, and then I struggle to get back to it. So I've had to learn, and I haven't perfected it, but I've got that morning routine. I've got my daily workouts in. I've got those things that are locked and loaded. My nighttime routine, same way. You don't need to know about my bath I take every night, but I have things that I do. But that middle piece of the day, it has to be like, hey, what are the 3 things that are most important I have to get done today? What are my time blocks going to look? But also building out moments to have like catch-up times. Like, I love to call Heath every single time I have something I want to tell him, but he's extremely ADHD and it really screws him up. It'll take him 10 minutes to get back on track. Gotcha. So part of it is I have to jot down, okay? And then we have dedicated times now, like, hey, what time are we going to talk so I can go over whatever's come up in my day? So having a plan and then having a revisit, like the moment that plan gets off, man, it's so easy to just be like, well, my day is screwed up now. I guess I'll just lay on the couch and play on my phone. Like, no, like I've got to figure out how to fix this day and what still needs to be done. Yeah. And so getting better and better at that, especially wanting to be mom and wanting to be wife and wanting to be all the other places I'm pulled that I'm not used to being.
Yo, that is so funny. I think everybody has that thing where like that daily routine just is crucial, and everybody's day starts different. But the thing I try to reiterate to a lot of people is you got to start somewhere. Like, I know everybody want to be all free and willy-nilly and float with the universe and all that. But the thing is, you wind up doing nothing. You literally wind up nothing.
Exactly.
So make a plan. Yeah, like you said, if you notice consistently this one thing is constantly getting off, then we restructure the plan. But we have to like prepare and start somewhere. Absolutely. So I agree with you 100%. So
it sounds so basic, but it's just like so much of the basic advice you'll hear over and over and over is the advice you actually need to do, not just hear. Right. And you talk about it, you got to do it. You got to do work. When people give you advice, it's like so many people are like, okay, well, I know I need to make a plan, but are you going to go actually execute it and actually do it? Because that's where that change is made.
Yeah, action is crucial. Without action, there's just no progress. Like there's just no progress. And if you're still and you're not moving, you're not growing, you might as well be dead. I don't know. You're not doing anything. You know what I mean? There's no life there because life requires growth. It requires growth and it requires some level of change. Hopefully you're changing for the better, but it requires growth and change. So if you can leave us with one final thought today to the Do Work crew, to the Do Work podcast audience, what would that be?
I have a saying, and I love it, is that you have to do what you said you would do despite how you feel. Our feelings.
Oh,
it's true. We like to set out a plan and we're like confident it's going to work. And then when we start walking it out, and that could be anything. That's your marriage, that's your kids, that's your job, that's your walk with the Lord, any of it. The moment it doesn't look like we think it should, the moment our feelings get involved, we let things, we do not continue to do what we said we would do. And so if I could leave you with anything today, it's whatever it is that you're trying to pursue is to keep doing what you said you would do despite how you feel.
Yo, I'm here for it. And that's the difference between motivation and discipline. Let's go. Yep. Oh my God. All right. So look, I appreciate you coming on today. I know you're very busy. Thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can reach you and follow you. And
yes, pretty much at Weightloss Hero, wherever you want to find me. I don't really do anything on Twitter, so don't.
Yeah, I'm not fancy either. I'm just like, hey, I'm Diva Richards everywhere. All right, girl. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk soon. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So again, my guest today, My guest today was my good friend, Christine Evans, aka the Weight Loss Hero. And if you haven't, make sure to follow her on all her social channels. She's a rock star. She's amazing. And yeah, that's it. That's all we got today. So you know how I'm going to end this, right? You know how I'm going to end this, right? By saying one thing and one thing only, and that is nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work.